It's Not Another Buffalo Podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John, Pat, and Brando on Buffalo Rumblings.
All right, welcome back to Not Another Buffalo Podcast, episode 200. This is Buffalo Rumblings Podcast. You can find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Small City Real Estate. If you're buying, selling, or need help with property management in Western New York, call Zach Korzelius at 585-409-1088. That's 585-409-1088. So, gentlemen, big episode 200 today. I think it's more of an accomplishment that we actually made it to this point in one piece with any listeners whatsoever. So, obviously, a thank you to those who have been with us for any amount of time, but especially those who have been with us since the beginning.
A couple of shout outs to you two gentlemen for letting me join you one evening. This has been awesome. You know, you guys are two of my best buddies in the world, and it's been awesome to talk to you guys. Shout out to anybody that's listened from day one, because there are some that have never missed an episode, surprisingly, believe it or not. And then everybody at Buffalo Rumblings. Any interaction that I've had, business related, personal related, help related, stupid questions, hard questions, everybody's been super helpful. So go for Buffalo Rumblings. Yeah. Go for you guys. And claps to anybody that listens. Sorry if I cut you off there.
Yeah, and not to get too far into the thank yous here this early in the episode, but one guy in particular who needs a big thank you is Anthony Marino, because without him inviting us to join Buffalo Rumblings, there's a good chance we wouldn't be doing it today. And still to this day, really the only guest on the show. I mean, we've had Nate on, our buddy, and stuff like that, but
we had the guy from the Dolphins last year. I did it with the guy in the Dolphins last year, Merrick Brand.
Oh, that's true. That counts. You did the other interview, but yeah, you know that graphic of Josh Allen where it's like only NFL quarterback ever, and it cuts off the end of it. So it's like only NFL quarterback ever. It's like only guest ever, Anthony. Not just the best guest ever, the only guest ever, Anthony Marino. So thanks, Anthony, if you're listening to us. We definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't have done it without you. So we have a locked and loaded episode for you guys. This one might be a long one, so strap in. We've got, not only is this a mega episode where we're doing 1 week's worth of content because we didn't have a Wednesday episode this week due to the holidays.
Merry Christmas.
So we're doing our game picks. We're doing Brandos Bets. Got some quick trivia from Brando. We've got a Sabers update throwback. We're going to roll the Sabres update from our very first episode, so stay tuned for that. And we'll have another John's Top 10 special for the 200th episode. We just kicked that off last week, but we're already doing number 2. And then a special Quotes with Pat. So, Pat, you want to explain how Quotes with Pat is going to be special later?
Sure. We're going to have quotes only from, quote-unquote, only hosts of Not Another Buffalo Podcast, so you guys will see.
I like it.
These are the times really that we have to, where we remember that we said stupid things in the past, right?
I tried to make them vague enough that, like, because there are certain things where I know that, like, if the word choice was specific enough, we'd be able to, tell who said it.
Stanley Steamer.
Right.
Joe Flacco.
And obviously,
Joe Flacco,
highlight clips that we've been playing in intros for lots of episodes. Those ones are probably pretty easy to guess. So I'm ready for some deep cuts, Pat. That'll be fun. So let's kick it off. We want to give a shout out to our fantasy league winner, Brendan. Congrats to you. He beat Jake Say, who was the top dog in the fantasy league. I think he was like 11-2 or something like that.
Beat me by 4 points in the semis. He went 11-2. I beat him once in the regular season, so that was a tough break. But Jake Say, good season, but not as good as Brendan.
Yeah, so none of us hosts finishing in the top 3 at all for fantasy this year. So we're slacking. We might need to pick up our research for next year.
Now the question remains: did Pat go winless this year?
Probably.
Did Pat win a game in our fantasy league? We might need to. Brandon, can you check that really quick?
I will check now. Pat, if you went winless, I think you have to do something.
Yeah, you have to do the rest of the episode with your shirt off or something. I think that's the... No, I'm just kidding. The world's not ready for that. But yeah, just a big thank you to everybody in our fantasy league who participated. We had fun with you guys. We didn't do a lot of coverage of it on the episodes and stuff like that because I know everyone's in fantasy leagues and not all of our listeners are always doing fantasy stuff. But it was definitely fun.
Goodness.
And again, congrats to Brendan on the win. So Brandon, what's the update?
Charlotte Pier Dirty Boys, Pat Gabriel finishes 0-13 on the season, clearing last place by a full 3 games.
Yes. I need to get a Deshaun Kaiser and Hugh Jackson jersey right now.
And Dante Culpepper.
And a Dante Culpepper Miami Dolphins jersey, yes.
No, Lions. Lions.
Lions?
When they went 0-16, yeah. Culpepper's
all right, can we read through Pat's all-star lineup really quick? You got that pulled up?
It was a good lineup, too.
Give me 2 seconds. I just X'd out of it.
Yeah. And that's
for one thing,
to
I did get a complaint. Friend of the show, Timmy, he said the auto substitutions cost him the championship. And I said, no, but you lost fair and square. No, it is what it is. But let's see. What do we have? Pat's lineup. The 0-13 lineup.
I mean, in defense of myself, really there is no defense for an 0-13 season. But it was I had 2 leagues, and both leagues were through the same app. And so there was some signing in and signing out required. And I think I just got
Pat,
a little bit
actually,
lazy.
It's just a swipe of your thumb right or left from the main screen because it'll have your 2 teams. Because I have the same thing, and it says Happy Holidays, and if you scroll right, it goes to Judge Judy. It's this. This is the keystroke.
I'm guessing that Pat might have had 2 separate ESPN accounts attached
I think so,
to his
yes.
fantasy based on what he was saying.
That sounds complicated. Yeah.
Yes.
It all makes sense now.
Here we go. Starting at quarterback, Brock Purdy. Running back, Kenneth Walker. Zeke Elliott, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, Dalton Kincaid, T. Higgins, Washington's defense. Evan McPherson is kicker. On his bench, Pat Mahomes, Pat Freiermuth, DJ Chark, Michael Gallup, Cade Otton, Jalen Guyton, and Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver in New Orleans. 0-13, baby, with the best.
Rashid Shaheed, yeah.
Yeah, punt returner.
That's not a terrible lineup.
No, it's not Pat Mahomes was only out of the lineup because it was like there was like a bye week or something, and I had to put him in there.
Well, Brock Purdy's an MVP candidate, so
I threw 4 picks.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah,
he was up until this point.
Oh, but sorry for your loss, Pat.
How about
happy to Brendan?
That's all right. What do you suggest I do?
Pay more attention.
No, I mean as punishment.
Oh. I don't know yet.
We're going to have to figure that out. Okay, so anybody who's in the fantasy league or otherwise, tweet at us your suggestions for what Pat should do for going 0-13. And I don't know. Do we? What are some of the good fantasy league punishments?
I was thinking that I could change my work email signature to have 0-13 participant of NABP Fantasy League on the bottom of it.
Get fired, right? My buddies do a league, and they have a license plate frame that says I lost my fantasy league that they put around their car. I thought that was funny.
I mean,
That's pretty good.
But we'll think of something. We won't make you shave your head.
Anything with that.
No, Andy already has a mustache.
I already have a mustache.
He already tried that. Yeah. He already tried that one.
It's not a punishment when you look that good with a mustache, Pat.
Right, exactly.
But we'll think of new and creative ways to
shave the mustache. No,
to make sure it doesn't happen again.
That's funny. All right, Brandon, you said you had some quick trivia for us real quick?
Quick trivia for you, boys. In 70 years, this has not happened until this past week. 2 teams in the NFL combining together for 10 wins each. Which 2 franchises got to 10 wins in the same season in the first time in 70 years?
Well, the Lions are one of them.
Ding, ding.
It's got to be the Browns, right?
It's the Browns. Lions and Browns both have 10 wins on the season together for the first time in 70 years.
Represent Great Lakes area, though. I mean, other than the Bears, you guys aren't really holding it down, but, us 3 are holding it down over here.
Yes, sir.
Well, sweet. Let's get into some game picks here. I'm going to pull this up really quick because, of course, I didn't have it ready to go. All right. You guys want to recap last week?
Of course.
I'll start with that. All right. So it wasn't a particularly great week for anybody. We have Pat at 3-3, me at 2-4, and Brando also at 3-3. So where that puts us is Brandon is leading the way by 4 games at 53-43, and Pat and I are both just hanging on to above 500 at 49-47, both tied. So it's getting tight. A couple of rounds left to go.
Getting real tight for a 10-game lead. Oh, sorry. I had something in my throat.
As soon as the playoffs start, I don't think anyone's going to be able to close a 4-game lead by that point. So, Brandon, if you can get this thing into the playoffs with a 4-game lead, I think you'll be pretty safe because we won't be picking as many games.
If I can split 3-3 and finish 10 games above 500, I'm cool with it.
Absolutely. So, this week on the docket, we got some pretty good games. We picked a couple out of the NFC just because one was a good matchup, and obviously Brandon likes Detroit. So let's start there. This is a Saturday night game, and no Monday games this week, by the way, because it's New Year's Day and bowl games for college and stuff like that. So all games Thursday, Saturday, Sunday this week. This is the only Saturday game. Dallas is favored by 5.5 at home against Detroit. So, Brando, I guess we'll start with you, the resident Detroit fan.
The disrespect for a minus 5.5 point line is outrageous. Are you kidding me? Dallas, what is going on? You should not be 5.5 point favorites. You threw a stinker against the Dolphins. You threw a stinker against the Bills. And guess what? You're going to throw another stinker against the Lions because they're coming for the 1 seed in the NFC. Give me the Lions, baby.
Detroit for Brando.
Let's go.
I have a contrary pick written down in here. A, because I knew Brandon was going to pick Detroit, and I need to start picking some picks different than him. But B, because Dallas is at home, and that's the huge difference here from their last, whatever reason, they have huge, we talked about their splits, home and away, dome, outside dome. It's crazy. So in this one, maybe take the over if it's, an over 45 or something like that. I think the over-under is probably going to be in the 50s for this based on Dallas putting up points at home. Their average points per game, their average margin of victory at home are all crazy historical numbers. They're going to put up 30 against the Detroit defense, and I think Detroit might do the same to them. But so in that case, that 5.5 point spread, if you're scoring that much, might be shrunk a little bit. So I'm fine with taking Dallas there. I think they'll clear the 5.5 point line. They need a get-right game at this point in the season. Detroit just won their division as well, so they're pretty much set. They got their spot locked in.
That's interesting. Detroit has a chance to have the NFC playoffs run through Ford Field for the first time in ever. I don't know, ever. But Dallas is on a 15-game home winning streak, and the total is 53.5, which is the highest in the NFL this season.
Okay. So we were right about the over 50. So, maybe take an over 45 number because 53 is a pretty big spread.
So what do you get? 53? You're looking at a 28-24 game?
At least. Maybe more than that is the implied score. Yeah, it would be about that. Maybe 29.
Yeah.
But someone's going to get over 30 in this game, so other team probably gets 20. So, Pat, what about you? Who you got in this one?
Well, how many did you say the Cowboys have won in a row at home?
15.
Well, I feel like the law of averages says that maybe 15 is just enough. Got to go with the Lions.
My boy.
Detroit for Pat. All right, I'm ready to get hurt again. But I'll still be rooting for Detroit in this game, so I guess I get a win either way, but I think it's going to be a tough matchup. We'll see. Next up, this is the game that we'll probably be watching closer than the Bills game. Miami at Baltimore. For the Bills to have a chance at the division in Week 18, they need Miami to lose this game. And if you watched Baltimore last week, you probably think that there's a good chance of that. So Baltimore favored by 3.5 at home. This is away from Miami. Don't know what the weather looks like. But Brando, who you got in this one? Do you think that Baltimore is going to be able to pull it off and we're going to have Sunday Night Football in Miami next week?
Well, this is tricky. I have gone on record many times and said the Ravens, you should all be scared of the Ravens. They are good. Even if, say what you want about Lamar's MVP, but I did recently reach out to Johnny, and there is a path for Tua Tagovailoa to win MVP if he beats the Ravens and beats the Bills. So I threw $1.50 on that, just to have a little bit of a positive outcome if they win out. But I don't think it's going to happen. I'll take the Ravens. Give me the points against the Dolphins. I think they'll close it out. We'll see. They're so banged up. The Dolphins are banged up. They don't need this game. So
well, that's what is Jalen Waddle playing? It's
going to be questionable. So we'll find out. But I'll take the Ravens.
Nice. Pat, what about you?
Well, I think if you guys ever watch the Eric Andre show, he says, Odell Beckham Jr., do you play Call of Duty? Because you're a Call cutie. No, but yeah, I'll go ahead and pick the Ravens. If nothing else, because I just want to manifest it and say it out loud. But
so the Bills obviously still can make the playoffs even with a Miami win here, but in order to win the division, they need this one. I'm going to take Baltimore. I feel like they're on a roll. They're playing for that 1 seed. They want to be able to rest their starters with the 1 seed secured going into Week 18. And in order to do that, I think that they need to win this game against Miami. So give me them in that spot. I think that they could. They're a team that can out-tough Miami at this part of the season, I think. So
I think it'll look like hopefully the way that we one of the times that we played them, I feel like.
Yeah.
Bully ball on defense, get some pressure onto contain the passing game and make Tua come off his first read. Maybe they have to beat him with Mostert. So,
yeah. Well, they single-handedly took Brock Purdy out of MVP contention in 1 week after he was the betting favorite at like minus 200.
And lost me my fantasy season against Brando in our other league, so thank you.
Yes. Say what you want. This may be a good debate. I think Tua's having a better season than Brock Purdy. I think Tua's a lot better than Brock Purdy.
I would agree.
No one's talking about Tua's season, and I'm not saying that as a hater. I'm saying that as somebody who's watched a lot of the games with friends of the show. Sam, friend of the show, big Dolphins fan. I think we are better than the Dolphins, but Tua shouldn't get this hate. Or the Dolphins are getting hate. This is going to be a great game. I still think the Ravens are going to win, but I don't think Tua's going to throw 4 picks like Brock Purdy did.
All right, next up, we have Las Vegas going into Indianapolis. Indy is 3.5-point favorites. Indy dropped one last week to, who was it? The Falcons or something like that?
Yep.
So that actually worked hugely in the Bills' favor as far as their wild card odds. Now the Bills are looking like they're going to be, if they make the playoffs, they're going to be pretty much either the 2 seed or the 6 seed. So obviously you want to root for Vegas in this one, I think, because Vegas's playoff hopes are pretty much shot. They've already got 8 losses, I believe.
Well, I think the division's still in play, right, for them if Kansas City loses out.
It might be. It might be.
Well,
Kansas City would have to lose to the Chargers and
the Bengals.
Which, if you think that's still a possibility, that would be great, but I don't know. And then that increases your chances that, Kansas City might be coming to Buffalo the first week of the playoffs or something like that, rather than getting more of a softball matchup in, say the Steelers or the Colts coming to Orchard Park. But anyway, Indy's 3.5-point favorites. Brandon, how do you think they'll fare in this one?
Indy's going to win this game. O'Connell threw for 70 yards in the first quarter and then didn't do anything else after the first quarter. And is it Zaire White, the running back for the Raiders, had a big game. I picked him up in fantasy for waivers just so nobody else could have him because I'm not trying to lose to this guy. So
wait a minute, didn't you just complain?
I'm learning, John.
That Nate did that to you? All right,
fool me one time, shame on you.
I think you have to withdraw your complaint. I think that's the rule.
Fool me twice, you can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times.
After the peace sign.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but Indy
for Brando. Pat, what about you?
Well, as one, from one mustache connoisseur to another, I hope that Aiden really has a great game and the Raiders stay on track. I like Antonio Pierce as a guy. So, yeah, give me the Raiders.
Nice. Pat, I'm with you. I think the Raiders are fun to root for again. Like back when they had, what's his name? Rick Bisaccia. Yeah. Same kind of deal. I hope that their owner, Mark Davis, learned his lesson last time around with Rick Bisaccia and keeps Antonio Pierce on. Because that was a fun game to watch, them destroy Kansas City. I don't know if you guys got to watch that on Christmas Day. That was so fun. Kansas City looks completely broken. I'm picking Las Vegas for this game because they get points. And if they did what they did to Kansas City's offense, I think they can do the same thing to Indy as well and probably run it down their throats. So anyway, Indy's playoff chances hanging by a thread in this one if they lose. Cincinnati at Kansas City is the next one we got up. Kansas City is favored by 7. Do you think that Cincinnati has a chance in this one, Brando, at all, based on the way that Kansas City looked last week, or no?
John, I'm gonna spin this on you because I've gone first twice now. I would like to know, what do you think about this game? Is Jake Browning gonna be like Joe Burrow here and beat Pat Mahomes? Because Joe Burrow seems to have Patty Mahomes' number. The Bengals, as a team, have the Chiefs' number. So, John, what do you think is going to happen?
I think Kansas City's going to have good answers for Cincinnati's all-right defense. And Cincinnati's defense can be situational, but I don't know. I think Kansas City's going to come out pissed off in this one because of how they played last week. They got them at home. They want some revenge against Cincinnati for the way the divisional round went a couple of years ago. Or actually, that was the AFC Championship game. They don't have Joe Burrow. Jake Browning had a really great start, but now he's put some film out, and everybody knows how to play against him. So give me Kansas City to clear that, even though it's a big spread. But Pat, you can go next. Sorry, I didn't mean to go to Brando first that time.
No, you're good. I agree with you. That's just why I was going to have you go first. I'm just going to say exactly what John says.
That's what I'm saying. 2 Washington Huskies quarterbacks taking the L. Back-to-back, Jake and Godna.
So Kansas City for you and the points? Cool. All right, next up, we got a little old Super Bowl rematch, Pittsburgh at Seattle. Seattle's favored by 3.5. I believe the Steelers would be out of it if they lost this game. But Pat, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I think Matt Hasselbeck's going to go for a quarterback sneak and end up just a little bit short. No, but I mean, honestly, I don't know how they're doing it. Mike Tomlin really is Stanley Steamer. I mean, I don't think it matters, really. Mason Rudolph, Kyle Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, as I said.
Who came through on Christmas. Yes. Let's go.
Doesn't matter. Give me the Steelers. Somehow, it'll be a terrible game to watch, but.
Wow. Interesting pick.
For Pat. What about you, Brando?
I'm going to take Seattle. They are also playing for their playoff lives, I believe. They need this game. This is the Joes versus the Schmoes, right? Who's going to make the playoffs? Somebody's going to have to step up here. And I'm going to choose Geno and Tyler Lockett and Kenneth Gainwell and DK Metcalf over anybody that Pittsburgh has to offer, except TJ Watt. But he can't win this game.
Kenneth Walker, not Kenneth Gainwell, right?
Yeah, I said
Kenneth
Walker.
Yeah. You said Gainwell. It's all right. Different green bird team in the NFC. Pretty close, though. I'm taking Seattle here, too. This is just the battle of who's going to, the first round playoff exit, So we'll see who gets in as the 6 or 7 seed. Anyway, next up is our game of the week, New England at Buffalo. This is a 13-point spread right now. Pat, I'm almost ready to write down your.
You already know what it's going to be. 13 is a lot of points. I'll tell you what. This is a bold take right here, but I'm more worried about this game than I am the game next week. If there was anyone on the face of the planet that could ruin the Bills' season other than, Andy Reid and company, it probably would be Bill Belichick. I mean, granted, we lost to him in Foxborough, but kind of scared about this game. Bills to win, not to cover.
And you hear Bill Belichick complimenting Josh and comparing him to Brady in press conferences this year. That's the classic Patriots thing, is compliment the heck out of your opponent and then drive them into the ground. So, yeah, I'm never going to be fully confident about a game versus the Patriots based on everything that's gone wrong, whether it's the wind, whether it's Sun Tzu, which I'm saying that tongue in cheek. I don't actually think, the dude's learning anything from the art of war here, but obviously I have to pick Buffalo because that's the obligatory rules, and we're not going to change it up for episode 200. So give me Buffalo minus 13. But yeah, I'm nervous, and it's December football. It's late December football. This could be a grinded out game, just like the Chargers game was last week, even though the Bills were superior. So give me Buffalo, but I'd be very happy if they won this game by 10, 14 points.
Yeah.
What about you, Brando?
It's tricky. This is one of those games, a double-digit underdog coming to another team's city, so the away team. The unders always seem to be the play for a game like this, and the spread always seems to be a play for this. So New England and an under, those hit the majority of the time, more than half of the time. That doesn't mean the Bills are going to lose, but like you said, I'm going to take the Bills here for a couple reasons. Reason number one, this could be Bill Belichick's last come through Buffalo, and we are going to embarrass him on his way out. He is not going to get any closer to that wins record, but he's going to get closer to the loss record, that all-time loss record that we are all looking forward to him hitting, whether it's this year or next year. And then the other part about this that does scare me a little bit is New England is playing their best football of the season right now. And you have Bailey Zappi, who you said, Bill Belichick might pump you up and then hammer you into the ground or drive you into the ground was your words, right? I don't think Bailey Zappi's driving us into the ground here. Mac Jones gets his first ever fourth quarter game-winning drive against us last time, but Bailey Zappi's, it's not there. But the fact that these guys are playing good football right now, we are not going to play down to them, I don't think. We have played down to our opponents a few times this year, but having New England coming in hot.
More than a few, yeah.
Yeah. Having New England coming in hot, I think, is a good thing for us because you're not going to see this little stupid out route Ken Dorsey interception special on the first play of the game again, right? Like they did with Dawson Knox. And the offense looks different. Rasul Douglas is here. They got the D-line sorted out. Ed Oliver, instead of rotating every other snap, he's just playing the whole game, which is incredible in a Sean McDermott defense. So I expect much better from the defense in this game, maybe 20 points, 18, 17 points for New England. But give me the Bills. They'll cover. They'll hit 30.
Brando with the prep on that one. Hell yeah. I love it.
I'm excited for this game. It's a huge game. Again, I said it last week against San Diego. I'm never going to stop doing it. Against LA, the Chargers. If we lose this game, it's fireable offense for the coach. And these guys have shown that they're rallying behind him. The Bills were in MVP talk more than ever in my lifetime, and maybe outside the 2020 season, but nobody really Josh was having a good season, but Aaron Rodgers was on fire that year. So it was going to Aaron one way or the other. So this is cool to see a Bills player in the conversation for MVP since Thurman Thomas, right? In the 90s.
Yep.
So there's a path for him. You know it. We made a bet on it for him to pull it through. There's a real easy way for him to get there. You win these 2 games, you score 3 touchdowns in each game, maybe throw one in on the ground, hit that 45 touchdown mark, cross that 35 passing touchdowns. So I think he needs one more to get the record. Before this season, before Jalen Hurts came in, I think the QB rushing record was 12 or 11, and Jalen Hurts
would have
beat
been
it.
Cam Newton, right?
Yeah.
Cam Newton would have had it.
So Josh would have a record-setting season on the ground.
Are you
if it weren't
sure?
for that.
I feel like it's like 16 or 15 or something.
Well, now it is because Jalen Hurts got his 15th on the season last week. So at one point, it was less than that this season. I think it's just gone up every week because they keep getting those stupid tush pushes. But we can do it too. We do the same thing. Go, Josh. Tush the push. Push the tush.
Push the
Score.
tush.
Yeah, push the tush.
Yeah, Cam has 14.
Okay.
Cam had 14?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, those are our game picks for this week. It'll be a good weekend of games. I'm sad there's no Monday Night Football. We'll see how it goes. Game picks are brought to you by the Jkorz Agency for all your insurance needs. So I have a Sabers update for you guys, but we're going to do a little throwback here. So I'm going to play the Sabers update from episode 1, and you would be surprised to know how well it fits still and rings true. By the way, our first Sabers update would have been in 2020, 2021.
This is Ralph Kruger, right?
Yeah, this is still in the Ralph Kruger days.
Yep.
So
how much has it changed? Let's hear.
Let's see.
It's time for the weekly Sabres update.
Hey Pat,
Yes.
have the Sabres made the playoffs yet?
No, they have not.
This has been your weekly Sabres update.
So here we are, 200 episodes later, and Sabres still haven't made the playoffs, so
And they're not gonna this year.
they're probably not going to this year.
Stat of the day, I heard this on WGR this morning. They are 7 points behind the Washington Capitals in the final wild card spot. Guess what? It's not even the number that is crazy. The Washington Capitals have 4 games in hand on the Sabres.
Oh my god!
So it's just brutal. It's a disgrace. The Sabres suck. Move the franchise.
What?
Not really. I like this. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They're just embarrassing. It's hard to be this bad for this long. You have so many top 10 picks. It's hard to be this bad this long.
I mean, the only silver
know.
lining is that I've got to become a fan of going to Sabres games because
Yes.
they're so bad that tickets are affordable. But
Yes. Yep. Me too.
Yep. You and all the Canadian Leafs fans are all thinking the same thing. So
At the expense of every season ticket holder.
Correct.
right. All right. Well, Brando, you got any good bets? Actually, we got to get a break in here real quick. So when we get back, we'll do Brandos Bets. We still have John's top 10 ready to go, and then also a special edition of Quotes with Pat. So stick with us after the break, and we'll be back.
All right, so in the spirit of hockey, the Not Another Buffalo podcast and Buffalo Rumblings, we are a sponsor in the Buffalo Vibes Men's League this year with our NABP logo. The jerseys are sweet. You're going to see some game results. You're going to see some highlights. You're going to see these sweet jerseys. But we're going to have a rumbler of each game, and they get to wear the Billy Beer hat. And they get to drink out of it like this. And we'll have a nice little sticker right there. All right. And I'm not drinking right now because it's 2 o'clock on a Wednesday. But what's today? Thursday? 2 o'clock on a Thursday. But they'll pop that baby on. They score a couple goals in the game. They rumble and they tumble through some action on the ice. And that's what they get. So keep an eye out for that. It's a pretty cool league. It'll be fun. And hopefully we do better than the Sabres.
Yeah. Well, Brando, I'm sad that you can't do the headphones and the hat at the same time because that'd be great to have on for the rest of the episode. And if the Bills are in the Super Bowl this year, I will get myself one of those hats, and All Vibes John will be out of control just for those episodes. We'll do episodes like every day of the week leading up to the Super Bowl.
We'll be on. Maybe we get a ticket to what is it, Media Row or Radio Row at the Super Bowl.
I would.
Credentials. Yeah, that's hilarious. Where is it this year?
It's Allegiant Stadium, Paradise, Nevada. So what that's...
Oh, it's in Vegas.
Dude, I do. We do have like crazy deals. MCC does though, dude. I could get all three of us in there for like $1,200, and that would be everything, like airfare, hotel. Like,
to the Super Bowl?
$400 a person to Vegas.
Oh, to Vegas.
Yeah.
Well,
they might have blackout dates
for
I bet you they have blackout dates for the Super Bowl week. But yeah, we should look at that. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
But yeah. So anyway, yeah. If we get there, I promise I will have a beer hat on, and the beer cans will be full and empty by the end of the episode. So we'll have that to look forward to. All Vibes John. That's like the final boss that you have to beat.
Yeah. Right.
So, but. Yeah, so what do we got up next? Brandos Bets. Brando, you got something put together for us?
I do.
Time for Brandos Bets.
Financial advice, please gamble responsibly.
And again, I'm the stupid. I don't know if it's stupid because the Bills won, but we had Josh Allen over 2 touchdown passes last week. And
over 1.5.
Or to get to 2 touchdown passes.
2 plus touchdown passes.
And I don't know if anybody was watching the game, but Khalil Shakir had a touchdown that got waved off. But we were able...
Which was good.
It turned out well for us, but it cost me a decent amount of money because I had bets for that. I did put some skin in the game. I thought it was going to be a lock. We did the research. The numbers said it was a good bet, and my algorithms are off this year. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I will say with this one this week,
we got to call you Dick Duran because you're 7-9 on the season. So anyway, keep going.
Well, I got 3 more years of this before you got to fire me, so don't worry.
Exactly. You got to go. Yep. You got to do 7-9 3 more times before we even think about pulling the plug.
Yeah. So this week, we talked about it. None of us, except for John, because he's all vibes. John, we don't like that -13 line. Being the away team coming to Buffalo, lower scoring teams cover. That's just what happens. So I manipulated it a little bit. I got the Bills at -6.5. They can win by a touchdown. It gives you a little bit of garbage time leeway. Maybe Bailey Zappi connects with Elliott at the end. But again, no Ramon Stevenson for New England. So Bills -6.5. I like that number. I bumped the total number of points to 49.5. And I picked the under 49.5 because I think that's a real high number for these two teams to get to. Even if the Bills win 30-14, that clips the under and it covers. So the other part about this is I think we're going to go wire to wire. The Buffalo Bills, they're going to win the first half and the full-time game. So I got the Bills first half win and to win the full game overall. So if you parlay those 3 items together, it comes out to be -110. So almost even money. Decent juice on that. I like it. I'm going to have some skin in the game here. Episode 200. I wish I could throw 200 on there, but I'm poor. So maybe 2 or 20. We'll see. But I'll throw something on there. I like it. I'm going to make that my Brando's lock of the week. And hopefully we are moving up towards the playoffs. So we can get to be a winning record here by the playoffs. I'd be happy. So what do you think?
I think we can do it. Yeah. Got to get a win this week and next week to get it back to 500. And then hopefully Wild Card Brando has something crazy to pull out. So we'll get to that. But Brando's Bets brought to you by DraftKings. I like it. So, okay, next up, we got John's top 10. I'm bringing it back this week. Made some adjustments, going to modify some stuff. But I did a special list based on our podcast, so if you don't like it, don't worry. We're going to do mostly Bills-based stuff. But so obviously our podcast is called Not Another Buffalo Podcast. There's plenty of other names we considered along the way, but now that we're 200 episodes in, I have come up with a list of 10 alternate names for Not Another Buffalo Podcast that would definitely still hold true. And for those of you who listen to the podcast the most, you'll probably get all of them. There's a couple of deep cuts in here. But without further ado, I'm going to pull this up here on the screen, and we're going to do the top 10 alternate names for Not Another Buffalo Podcast. All right. Top 10 alternate names for Not Another Buffalo podcast. Number 10, 2.5 hosts.
Hell yeah.
Number 9, Brando's Bad Beats.
All right. That's funny.
Number 8, the debate on generational.
Still debate.
Number 7, Not Another Bad Loss podcast.
Let's hope we don't. Let's hope we don't see that podcast for a while.
No, we had a lot of those this year. Number 6, Where's Pat? Number 5, Ode to Josh.
All right.
Number 4, this is a good one, Just Winging It. And number 3, John, you can edit that out. Number 2, the DraftKings donation show.
Yeah.
And the number 1 alternate name for Not Another Buffalo podcast. Blokes with Pat.
Blokes.
Hopefully our British friends appreciate that one.
Blokes with Pat. That was good. Good job, John.
Hell
Yeah, I had fun making that one.
Yeah, that's funny. I like 2.5 hosts. That was funny.
2.5 hosts. Yeah.
Yep, that was funny.
Communion edition.
That's good. Yeah, we've had a lot of good ideas when we first started the show. I don't remember what we actually had ideas for. We ended up going with It was actually Not Another Bills podcast for those of you who were with us at the beginning. And then when we, signed on to Buffalo Rumblings, we were like, okay, well, I guess we should probably focus on not getting sued, at some point. So we went with the Buffalo there. All right, Pat. So I hear you have some special quotes for us for Quotes with Pat.
Yeah. Yep, so we have a quote from each person here. So I'll start us off with one. This is from October 5th, 2022. What we did against the Bucs in 21 could be considered a fourth quarter comeback, but that doesn't necessarily constitute a win.
It's John talking about Tom Brady in Buffalo, right?
Well,
I believe the game was in Tampa.
It was in Tampa, but we were down, 24-3, and we came back and lost it in overtime?
Right.
Correct.
I left the house in the fourth quarter in Batavia, and I had the game on my phone on the way back for that game. Did I say that?
I will give you some more foresight. This episode is in response to the Buffalo Bills Baltimore Ravens comeback game early last year.
Yep. We were talking about Josh's game-winning drives probably, and what that's one that doesn't count. And he's also, not to circle back around, but he's also had 3 more of those this year because he's tied for the league lead with 3 game-winning drives, but he should have 6. But the defense sucked. So.
Right.
But
well,
did I say that? Talking about Tampa?
It sounds like Brando. I'm gonna go with Brando.
Close. It's someone trying to bring down the energy of talking about a player's statistic.
Is this a Pat quote?
It's a Pat quote, yeah.
Oh, man.
A little bit of a Debbie Downer insight in there after we were celebrating it was like biggest Bills comeback in 11 years. And I was like, well, actually.
We lost.
Oh, that's good.
In a game we lost.
You got us on the first one, Pat.
That's funny.
Nice.
All right. Okay, this is a quote from May 5th, 2023. I had seen him on some boards as being the 9th best overall prospect in the draft class, which is solid. You're getting a top 10 player at number 27. You'll take that value every single time.
I was talking about Dalton Kincaid.
You remember this?
It's got to be Brando.
I remember that.
And by process of elimination, if it was off-season 2023, it's probably me or Brando.
No, I remember seeing Dalton Kincaid being number 9 and thinking we got a good deal. We talked about this. I remember talking about this. Yeah.
All right,
it's a
Brando, final guess.
Yes.
So, okay, for this next one, it's you, John. But can you tell me the month and the year when it was said? Do you think this is a fair?
This is a good twist. All right. Well, I'm not going to get it, but we're going to try.
Home field advantage has almost evaporated in the NFL. If you look at the overall statistics, discounting the 2020 season as an outlier, home field advantage isn't as significant as it has been in the past.
I feel like I said that within the last year.
No, it's trying before to think. That.
It was probably when we were talking about game picks for something, right? Because we're talking about typically you're given 2.5 points as a home team, and now it's like 1.5 is kind of what they give you. I don't know.
After the 13 seconds game? So
I'm gonna
January of 2021.
I'm gonna say maybe we were doing playoff game picks last year, so I'm gonna say January of 2023.
So it is January. I'm sorry, actually it's December 2022. 12/9/22.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what we were talking about in reference to 12/9/2022.
I missed by a month. That's not bad.
No, it's not
That's
bad.
not bad.
No, that's
All right.
pretty good. Let's see. Hang on one second. 2022 schedule in December.
December 9th, so the next game after December 9th.
So we play the Chiefs, and we win by 3. Bills 20, Chiefs 17. Final is December 10th. And then we played... Wait a minute.
December 9th.
No, I'm sorry. That's this year's schedule.
That's this year,
schedule.
yeah.
We're not
They
in
would have been.
2020.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
No. All right. We played the Jets on Sunday, December 11th, and we won 20-12. And then we played the Dolphins Saturday, December 17th, and we won 32-29. Maybe we were talking about the snow.
Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, any one of those games that we were talking about game picks for and debating how much home field advantage is worth.
Yeah.
But
well,
sweet.
good
Pat,
quotes,
that was
Pat.
fun. I like those. Those are some deep dives.
Can I read you my quote and you guys try to guess?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I heard this yesterday. I thought it was funny. I almost spit out my drink when I read this because it made me think of Pat instantly. And you'll know why as soon as I read it. Okay. And this is in conversation, so I clipped most of it that I could. So, all right. I'd be pissed if people pissed in my pool, but if I grew up swimming competitively in huge public pools, and sometimes you're in a long race and it's like, you got to go, man. So that way, sure. Yeah, that's okay. It's volume of water, and the urine to water ratio stays under. And these pools are so chlorinated anyways.
Is that Kyle Williams?
Nope.
I mean, it is true. I mean, everyone's gone a little bit. I think that, as a kid, it's good to scare the kids with the ink. You don't want to think you can do it all the time.
The context here is me and Pat were on the swim team for quite some time. So
yes. Genesee Region Champions, 200 medley relay.
Yep. Yes, we are. But this hits home. That's my only tip for you. You'd be surprised by this name saying this.
Josh Allen?
It was Josh Allen on Bussin' with the Boys. They're talking
funny.
about swimming activities.
So, well,
that's
we all
I haven't seen that.
We all been there.
But I didn't know Josh Allen was a swimmer growing up.
I don't think he was. Was he? He said he was?
Yeah, that's his quote. He said it. He said he swam races, and he peed when he swam the races. So
Think he pees when it's a super cold game in Buffalo?
It could be different. The chlorine to grass ratio is not there.
Yeah, I'm going to say he throws up before games. So, yeah, he likes excreting bodily fluids before major sporting events or during, I guess.
I wish somebody would ask him if that's still the case. Some reporter needs to ask him that. After like a good win on Sunday, like, Josh, did you puke before the game today? Or are you outgrowing that phase?
But also, I feel like if I have a kid, I feel like swimming is a great start. Swimming or gymnastics, I feel like for little kids, if you can do either.
Gymnastics is the best. Yeah, I tell parents all the time, sign your kid up for gymnastics.
Yeah.
At least the Bills don't have to go through gymnastics to make the playoffs.
You just got to not piss in the pool.
Yep. That's pretty much the summation of the rest of the season, right?
Yep.
Like they just have to not pee in the pool, and hopefully the Chargers game was the last stinker that they have on the docket, right? Because you don't have room for any of those in the playoffs whatsoever, unless you draw like I don't know, a really bad team the first round like the Steelers. But I don't think you can even do it against them. Have a stinker or anything like that. So
there's a whole nother episode to talk about that, the potential matchups.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get into that. Hopefully, coming out of a win against New England the playoff picture will be that much clearer, and we can really play with the playoff machine for just 1 week of scenarios.
Ideally, I would love to come out of this game and be able to say, if we lose, we still make the playoffs. Not that matters, but like that.
There's actually a scenario where they can clinch a playoff spot this week, and there's like 3 different ways they can do it. I don't have it pulled up right now.
John, I have it here. There's 14 different scenarios in which that they can make the playoffs this week, and none of them including losing. There's a bunch for a tie, and there's a bunch for 2 teams have to lose behind you. So Steelers, Colts, Bengals, Jags, any of those guys.
Gotcha. So if two of those teams lose and we win, that's pretty much the ticket.
Yep.
Or tie, but that we're not going to think about that. That's too complicated.
If we get to overtime, we just know it's an L. So let's just not even talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's I'm hurt. That's pain talking.
Yeah. I know. Well, hopefully we don't have to do a top 10 things more clutch than Sean McDermott's defense in the fourth quarter. So don't want to have to do that list. I've already got started, actually. Or things you trust more than Sean McDermott's defense in the fourth quarter. I've got that. So
yeah, right.
Anyway. Thank you guys for joining us for episode 200. Again, big thank you to everyone we mentioned at the top of the episode. Big thank you to everybody who listens, those of you who have interacted with us, and those of you who've never said a word to us and like are just, whatever, the closet listeners or whatever you want to say. Like we listen to all these shows and we never tweet at the people that we listen to it. So we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody who's ever listened to a single episode. Our sponsors, of course, Small City Realty, DraftKings, everything else along the way, and you boys especially. So thanks for doing this. Thanks for Pat taking my call the first time that we were like, hey, do you want to start a podcast? We talk about this stuff on a weekly basis anyway. You want to just hit the record button, and so yeah.
Hey, thanks to our parents too. Moms, dads, love you guys. Thank you.
Yes. Probably our most loyal listeners right there are our parents for sure. So,
and any goals for episode 300 besides the Super Bowl ring? Right?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully we get to 300 in the off season because we've done 100 episodes. We just hop on here every day and just enjoy how glorious the Super Bowl win was. So,
all right.
Episode 300 probably over a year away still, but yeah, I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll be doing live episodes at that point. Probably not.
Could be. Very well could be.
I almost clipped a full segment for this episode of highlight clips of things that I had to pull from episodes, things that I had to edit out.
You totally could, just for our entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah, I might need to do it just for you guys because I can't put him. I cannot broadcast.
Has Brando ever heard the forbidden intro?
Yes, I think Brandon's heard the forbidden intro. Yes, that was classic. That was a good one. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you guys all for listening. We'll be back next week on Wednesday, hopefully recapping another win. And until then, go
Cheers
Bills.
to 200 more, boys.
Yes.
Go Bills.
Cheers.
Cheers.